Miss Vasquez really has to stop pretty soon because I can only get so hard.
Oh, jeez. Oh, come on.
For today's story, we are dealing with accusations against yours truly of misogyny. And this is not the first time this has happened, and I feel like a lot of the time it happens, it's because people are not actually listening to the words I'm saying.
Okay, so we're starting off being incredibly condescending. Great way to start an apology off. Well, actually, I suppose that's it. This isn't an apology. So if you're not up to date with the drama, I'll just give you a quick background update. Kurt from Uncivil Law, as seen here, is getting called out for some misogynistic takes that he had about Camille Vasquez during the trial, and another comment he made on one of Illegal Bytes' stream. And here he is addressing it, or I suppose dismissing it.
They're looking at very superficially and getting the gist, but not the exact words.
Okay, yeah, I'll hear him out. You know, maybe he wants to explain the joke a bit better. Maybe us smooth brain, pea brain females and everyone offended by the joke just didn't get it.
And if you actually look at what I'm saying, it's usually not what people perceive it to be. Legal Bytes just did a stream earlier today, and there was a question asked in the form of a super chat, which shows that there's a problem with listening comprehension.
Okay, got you. Everyone is just really stupid, apart from you. Right, I get that. Go ahead, Kurt. Explain why your joke wasn't misogynistic. I'm sure everyone will agree. And just super quickly, if you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. I can't tell you how much that helps. Thank you.
So we're going to listen to what Legal Bytes said, and then we're going to go back to the original and show you what I actually said.
Soaring Kite says, Alita, how can you put up with Kurt's vulgar comments? Seriously, talking about a woman's time of the month. How sexist can you get? Why do you continue to overlook this kind of behavior? So I will say, I'll address this because I know that I've gotten a number of comments from people asking about Kurt in particular, some of the comments that he's made in the past. So for one thing, Kurt is a really great friend. He's been a really great friend throughout basically my entire time on YouTube. I first met him a year ago and some change. And he's always been a really great fellow YouTuber, fellow lawyer. He's always been very helpful to me. And he's proved to be a really good friend, even through some very hard times. So I will say that what I see as, I understand why his comments and his style is not necessarily for everyone. And I've also talked to him throughout some of the comments that he's made that I know that a lot of people react to on this channel. And the thing is that, like, I have personal conversations with him offline about a lot of these comments and a lot about a lot of these things that he said in the past. And he's always very receptive to it. So, you know, a lot of people can be turned off by some of the stuff that he says, and I understand that. However, just because I'm not necessarily admonishing openly, publicly, or anything like that on the live stream in the moment, doesn't mean that I'm not having conversations with my various friends, if people are having a reaction to certain things. So, I get not everybody likes it, but some people do. Some people appreciate the fact that he's totally unvarnished. So my recommendation would be take his humor with a grain of salt. And he is who he is, right? He's very open about that. But at the same time, I understand. I understand these comments too. And just know that we have conversations about this kind of stuff all the time too. And he's also very, very respectful of the fact that, that not everybody on my channel really appreciates that style too. So anyhow.
All right. First of all, just want to say thanks to Legal Bytes for her very kind words. We are good friends. I appreciate her commentary. I appreciate that she is showing me respect and all the rest of it. She may not remember the exact context in which I said this. The suggestion here is that I was making a comment about a woman and saying like it's her time of the month and therefore she's an idiot or something like that. Like some sort of sexist comment, right? This is the idea. We want to go back to the original and show you how people are not listening. So let's go back to the tape, shall we?
Get cross because I'm a woman. You know, it's just a weird thing that happens because I've got a woman's brain. Like, doesn't that sound insane?
It's ridiculous, though. Yeah.
I'm surprised that at this point that she didn't mention in that thing something about it being that time of the month influencing the decision making. I mean, the way that article's written, holy.
Well,
gosh.
it's insane. So anyhow, but
people who apparently have problems with the listening comprehension come to this super chat that we saw. They come to this super chat where apparently what they're hearing is Kurt making a comment about the woman's time of the month as though I'm the sexist. I'm going to explain the joke.
At this point, despite his condescending tone, I'm still willing to give him the benefit of doubt and let him explain the joke.
Talking about the woman from Stanford's article or her tweet thread, all right? We're talking about her and what she was saying about women and lawyers. And Legal Bytes sets up the comment by pointing out, you know, like, oh, the woman's brain, all right? It's like, she's making fun of the article for the same reason I am. Oh, you know, it's my poor woman brain. Can't keep up with that, you know, that law business, that's for the men, not for my poor little woman brain, right? So that's why she's setting it up, right? And then I come back with the comment, at this point, I'm surprised in that article, or I should have said in that tweet thread, but at this point, I'm surprised in that article, she wasn't bringing up how it's that woman's time of the month and how that's influencing the thing with the being a lawyer. Because the whole thing was that the whole thing this professor was writing about, and we covered it on my channel, the professor was writing about how being a woman undermines the identity of being a lawyer. That was the Stanford lawyer's perspective. The identity of womanhood undermines the identity of being a lawyer. So Legal Bytes is making a riff about this, and then I come on top of it with, at this point, I'm surprised in that article, which I showed as a tweet thread, at this point, I'm surprised that she's not mentioning something about it being the woman's time of the month, and that being the problem influencing the lawyer. By just pointing out how dumb the Stanford comments were, and how dumb her sexism is. Like, I'm surprised is when we're already going to, you know, when we're already saying that, you know, the identity of a woman, this is the woman Stanford professor saying the identity of womanhood undermines being a lawyer. And I'm like, well, as long as we're at it, might as well throw in the time of the month thing, right? I'm not saying anything. I'm saying I'm surprised she didn't mention it because of how dumb and sexist her argument is.
Okay, so to be fair, I can actually see where he's coming from and that he was playing into how ridiculous the sexism in the article actually was. I think the issue is people aren't sure when Kurt is joking because of how many misogynistic quote-unquote jokes he has, like the next clip we're about to get into. This one is of Kurt explaining why he said he had a hard-on for Camille.
Explaining the joke always makes it better, right? So it's Camille Vasquez's cross.
Ooh.
Elaine is awake.
Oh yeah, she finally woke up.
Maybe when they start criticizing the lawyers, that's what really got her woken up.
This Vasquez really has to stop pretty soon because I can only get so hard.
Oh, oh God.
I mean, everyone's reactions here just tells you how gross that comment was.
Line.
See what Elaine.
We're gonna need, Alita. We're gonna need special Camille Vasquez cross-examination panel rules.
Are you
written tomorrow.
ladies on this panel? I think I feel groomed with that comment. You might.
I'd like to know where the pearl clutching was when the endless comments were happening with Rob. Because surely we don't have double standards, right?
Okay, so this isn't a good look. Immediately starting off with deflection.
I'd love to break the bed with you. You can break the bed with me anytime. Endless comments in Legal Bytes chat about this.
Okay, right. Well, to be fair, I had actually thought the same thing previously about some of the comments that were being made about Lauren Lumber, Rob, that they were perhaps getting on a little bit weird, you know, they were sexualizing him in a certain way. But there is a massive difference, in my opinion, between Kurt, a public figure with an impressionable audience, making these comments on a public platform with thousands of people watching about a female lawyer, reducing her skills as an attorney to purely sexual objectification, in my opinion, is not the same as some random people, faceless people in chat making jokes about Rob being attractive or breaking the bed or whatever. And his fan base have also kind of named him Wood Daddy. And I saw Emily T. Baker the other day on a chat with Good Logic, kind of playing into that trope, asking if it was his name now on TikTok. And I suppose one could argue that it's a little bit sexist, but at the same time, it's between two friends who seemingly now know each other and get along. Rob hasn't, as much as, it still could be bothering him, hasn't expressed any disdain for these jokes. And it's very clear that she's just leaning into the joke of his fan base, nothing more. So although the comments to Rob might not be the greatest thing, they're definitely not the same as what Kurt did.
So surely we're treating these the same thing, right? So first of all, I'd like to know where the pearl clutching is, because I didn't see it. Okay. Second of all, people say I'm objectifying Camille Vasquez. I'm not objectifying her. Holy God.
See, he doesn't even realize he's doing it, and that kind of makes me wonder whether there's some truth to his statements, insofar as he does hold perhaps some misogynistic views.
Listen to the words of the joke. I refuse to apologize.
Okay, at least he's making that clear. Because holy shit, if this was an apology video, it would be one of the worst I've ever seen.
People say I'm objectifying Camille Vasquez. I'm not objectifying her. Holy God. Listen to the words of the joke, people. Just listen to the words.
If you insist.
This Vasquez really has to stop pretty soon, because I can only get so hard.
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
Yeah, unfortunately, a second time round doesn't make it any better.
Camille Vasquez has to stop talking pretty soon. I can only get so hard. Is that a comment about her looks? Is it a comment about her attractiveness physically? Is it a comment about her curves or the nice way that, her face or other body parts look?
Kurt doesn't seem to understand that just because you're objectifying her in a different way, that doesn't make it better. I'm sure most people can agree there's probably like a scale of sexist comments, and objectifying her on something like what she was wearing, or maybe like at the worst her boobs or something like that, would be way worse than what he said. But just because it was less bad doesn't mean it wasn't bad. And initially where I thought he was going with this was that he was attracted to her words full stop. But what he actually says is that her words make her attractive. So he's still objectifying her as a sexual object and reducing her absolutely outstanding performance in probably the trial of this decade to a sexual object that he's sexualizing. It doesn't make a difference what you're objectifying her based off, whether it was her left toenail or her dog. You're still saying that that makes her a sexual object that you are attracted to. If you were just saying that her words or her skill as a lawyer is attractive, rather than that's what makes her attractive, that would be different. Because in that sense, you could then say that you were attracted to the skills of any male lawyer, and it would be just as valid. But that's not what Kurt does. He dismisses his actions, saying that he wasn't objectifying her, despite blatantly saying that her skills are what makes her attractive of his sexual gratification.
The entire point of the joke, and I can't believe I have to explain this to people, the entire point of the joke is commenting about her words.
Yes, that you are saying then makes her an object of your sexual desire. You're not saying that her words are attractive, you're saying that her words make her attractive, which again is just reducing her down to a sexual object.
Her verbal skills, her talent as a lawyer, as an advocate. Camille Vasquez has to stop talking soon. What is the thing that's attracting me in the joke? The talking is.
Yes, to her. Not anything else, meaning that you're sexualizing her.
Adam Trapp says, are you mansplaining what jokes are? I guess. A little bit, yeah. And Andrew said, one difference worth parsing is your comments about Vasquez was relatively a private one. Rob was actually seeking comments. Rob has actually seen the comments being said about him. Well, maybe that's a difference, maybe not.
And this was another area I wanted to touch upon. Camille Vasquez has no way to kind of respond to Kurt's comments. And with his track record of misogynistic comments, what he's saying is a joke. If part of your shtick and your humour is having a certain area that you always harp on about in an ironic way, eventually some people in your audience are going to start flocking around you who have that same sentiment unironically. Meaning, if you're constantly saying misogynistic jokes, it wouldn't be surprising if part of Kurt's audience actually were a little bit misogynistic if he wasn't himself. Because if you're constantly telling jokes like that and misogynistic takes are constantly being used to portray humour, it does get confusing as to when you're telling a joke and when you're serious. And some people in there probably aren't going to be able to pick up on the irony and then play into all of the misogyny. So in a sense, you might be encouraging it. And again, Camille has no way to respond to this. And we've already seen throughout the Amber Heard trial that there is a section of the internet who are using the way Amber responded to all of the claims to fuel their misogynistic hate towards women. And so playing into all of these jokes is kind of just giving them more ammo. Comparatively, Rob has seen the comments, and if he wanted to, he could block them in his chat, tell people in the Legal Bytes community, and perhaps Alita herself, that he didn't like them and he wasn't comfortable with them, and just put a full stop to all of it. Whereas Camille has had to put up with thousands of sexist comments for which you're just fueling, such as rumours that she was dating Johnny Depp when there was no such rumours about Amber and her male attorneys. And so by just playing into all of this misogyny, even if you were joking, just becomes swept up in the wider misogynistic hate that she's already getting. And like I said, when he has some of these misogynistic jokes, it's really not clear when he's actually joking. And so there'll be a section of his audience who think that this is actually his humour. I don't know, maybe I'm going too hard on him. What do you think? Do you think this is all just like SJW rage, or do you think that he probably shouldn't have said those things and people are rightly calling him out? Let me know down in the comments what you think. Thank you so much if you've made it to the end, and hopefully you'll stick around for the next one because I've got a juicy one. See you. Bye.